This is BOI Weekly, a program put together by the Bank of Industry to showcase how the Development Finance Institution is facilitating the transformation of Nigeria's industrial sector through the provision of financial and advisory support to new and existing large, medium and small enterprises. A warm welcome to the program. I am Kumbi Aboluade. Our focus is still on the International Women's Month as we continue to highlight the significant impact being made by the Bank of Industry when it comes to women-owned and women-led businesses. BOI and the Women Chamber of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture held an event in Lagos with the theme Empowering Women, Unlocking Sector-Focused Financing Solutions. The participants gained insight into financing opportunities through engaging conversations.
God bless Nigeria.
As part of the Bank of Industry's commitment to continue supporting female-owned and female-led enterprises in Nigeria, BOI, in collaboration with the Women Chamber of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, once again brings female entrepreneurs together to further understand the financing need of women-led businesses across various industries, share financing opportunities, and forge meaningful connections that could help shape the future of women's entrepreneurship in the country.
To begin this program officially,
the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of the Bank of Industry, Dr. Olashikpo Olusi, sets the tone for the event, sharing the deep impact the bank is making through its advisory and financial support for women.
The Bank of Industry firmly believes in the transformative power of women-led businesses and their indispensable contribution to the Nigerian economy. We are here today because we recognize both the challenges and the boundless opportunities that women entrepreneurs present. This is the reason why we, in our 2025 to 2027 strategy, have mainstreamed gender as one of the critical thematic areas for intervention. Suffice to say that women entrepreneurs drive innovation, create jobs, and strengthen communities. A 2020 study by PricewaterhouseCoopers revealed that Nigeria has the world's highest proportion of activity by women entrepreneurs, comprising a remarkable 23 million women who command 41% of the country's micro businesses. However, access to finance remains one of the greatest barriers to realizing their full potential. This event is a strategic step towards empowering women entrepreneurs with real, actionable financial solutions. Beyond access to finance, we are here to build a thriving network, a community of women entrepreneurs, mentors, industry experts, and financial partners committed to mutual success. To deepen our impact in the gender space, we are actively working with various local and global organizations. First, as you all know, BOI is committed to the WeFi Code, which is a significant step towards enhancing financial inclusion and empowering women entrepreneurs. Late last year, we announced a 50 million partial risk guarantee partnership with the Africa Guarantee Fund. This initiative prioritizes women-owned MSMEs with a 75% guarantee. In other words, women entrepreneurs may not need to worry too much about their collaterals, but can leverage the instrument to access BOI funds.
Dr. Lucy then makes a special announcement.
I want to take this opportunity to announce also the creation of a special intervention program called Project GLOW. Project GLOW is guaranteed loans for women in partnership with Wasima. This is a 10 billion fund that will have a 50 million naira single obligor limit. In addition to this, BOI has also created a BOI Impact Fund, which will focus on both equity and debt instruments to address access to finance challenges for entrepreneurs in general, but of course with special interest in women-owned enterprises. BOI recently invested a sum of $2 million in Arua Capital, which is a fund of funds and is managed by a female-led investment firm, Arua Capital Limited. And this partnership supports BOI's efforts to drive gender financing and will deliver equity investments in women-owned enterprises in Nigeria.
While expressing gratitude to BOI for hosting the event and for opening its doors wider to women entrepreneurs across the country, the Director General of the Women Chamber of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, Dr. Waimi Eribo, acknowledges the critical role women play in high-impact sectors of the economy as she calls for the full recognition of women as a critical market segment.
This event could not have come at a better time. As we continue to celebrate International Women's Month this March, the global call to accelerate action echoes very strongly in this room. But beyond celebrations, this is a time for deliberate action. Action that ensures that women entrepreneurs are no longer at the margins, but at the center of Nigeria's economic development agenda. Women entrepreneurs in Nigeria account for over 40% of small and medium-sized enterprises. And in fact, Nigeria has one of the highest rates of women entrepreneurs activity across the globe. So as we gather here today, this forum is about charting a different course, a course where women are no longer treated as afterthoughts in financing conversations, but are seen as powerful economic force, deserving of tailored, adequate, affordable, accessible, patient, and sustained capital. And this is what BOI is doing today. In a launching of the GLOW Fund, which I immensely thank the Managing Director for BOI, we will see this kind of funding available for women-owned businesses. And so this is a good time to recognize the dedication of the Gender Desk team at BOI, whose work in driving financial inclusion is making a real difference. As we will hear in the testimonials today, your efforts are helping to bridge long-standing gaps and build pathways for women entrepreneurs to thrive. As WASIMA, we are here not just to initiate this conversation, but to drive this agenda forward.
A member of BOI's Gender Business Group then takes the audience through more BOI funding opportunities tailored specifically for them.
BOI has done about 108 billion in business support to 921 women-owned businesses in Nigeria and still counting. And so we intend to do more. We had the Bootful Funds, which was a collaboration with the Federal Ministry of Women Affairs to support women entrepreneurs. We also had the Fashion Fund, which was very popular. We have the Alethea Fund, and then we also do on-lending through commercial banks and financial institutions. We have the Arua Capital, the investment of $2 million, which was done last year. Basically, it was aimed at empowering women-led businesses with the hope of closing the gender financing gap. We have the 685 million funds facilitated by the Islamic Development Bank, specifically to support women entrepreneurs as well. And so, the list keeps growing, and, as we have these collaborations, we intend actually to develop, and to support women as much as we can.
It's time for the sector-focused conversations. Representatives from 3 business groups from the Bank of Industry explained the focal points of each sector, beginning with Agro-Processing Group.
As we have a lot of women-led businesses within our sector. The sectors that we focus mainly on are packaging. Those are core businesses: paper packaging, cardboard packaging. We do cocoa processing, palm oil, cassava to ethanol, and many other businesses. And we also do textiles as well. That is one that we have pioneer women in business for Gatimo, Rough and Tumble. I'm sure everybody knows who she is. Yes, she's a trailblazer. She has a facility with us. She's been performing. She's doing fantastically well. And in BOI, we want more women like that. It shouldn't only be one Gatimo. We should have like 100 Gatimos in our businesses. We're here to basically answer questions and to make sure that we can create more success stories in the agro-processing sector.
Next is the creative industry.
The BOI Creative Industries Group was set up in 2011 to intervene within the Nigerian creative industry, and we have done just that ever since then. If we cast our minds back, we'll see that there was a fund at a point called the Nolly Fund, which was established to cater to players within the creative industry. And that fund was an uncollateralized intervention to the tune of ₦1 billion and with 50 million naira per obligor. And it was a very successful project. Now, prior to that, what many people did not know is that BOI actually carried out an industry survey or study to see what the industry were and the risks. And after that, the bank decided that in spite of the risk, it would go ahead to play within the space. So what we did is we did not just pump money into content production, because if you're going to do content, there's a market where you would have to sell that, distribution platforms and the rest of them. So we did an entire value chain financing. That means from script writing all the way to marketing and distribution. That's why you see that about 80% of the cinemas you find in Nigeria today was financed by Bank of Industry. Because if we give you the money to go and do your productions, where are you going to sell them? The distribution platform that you are going to use. And between then and now, you can see that there is a huge drop also in the cries about piracy. This is what our intervention within the industry, has done for the business players within the group. As it concerns women, we have funded a lot of women, amongst whom we have Mo Abudu of Ebony Life. You all know her. She's the creative industry Amazon. We also have Choma Ude, who also does Envivo, and many others that cannot be mentioned.
Then to the business opportunities in the renewable energy sector.
It's quite interesting, the journey that BOI has embarked on over the years. The group started off in 2015. We were looking at rural electrification. Why rural electrification? Because that is where the people that need this type of technologies reside. The businesses that we're looking at, the small stakeholders, the women that are there, the children that are there. The men are mostly going to the farms either way. So those businesses in those rural areas, we looked at how could we help power them? How could we empower them to do more? So after the rural electrification phase, we decided that there is more to be done beyond rural electrification. There are a lot of businesses out there that need BOI support. And that led to the creation of the Solar Energy Fund, which is a specialized fund targeted at all players in the industry, right, or in the sector, wanting to have to change their energy needs from from diesel generator, petrol generator, because we know how dangerous those things can be, to cleaner technologies, which is more along the line of solar, renewable energy, wind technologies, and the likes. One thing that has happened for sure is that BOI has been here and will continue to be here to support all businesses, especially women businesses. One of the take-homes that I would like people to have from this conversation today, that there's a lot of money in waste, and if we operate what's called a circular economy, we end up not wasting a lot of products that we have, and then we get more from it.
Some of these female entrepreneurs ask questions on how and what it takes to access BOI loans, while others share their experiences.
I'm a beneficiary of the BOI LBS Entrepreneurship Development Program, which was held in 2023. And ever since I went through that program at Lagos Business School, it's changed my life and my business completely. Sometimes as business owner, we might think, capacity building, we don't need it, we know how to run our business, but that program is a life-changing program, and I want to say a very big thank you to BOI for that. We have customers who have gone through the BOI process, and I will follow them through that process and be like, Fumi, BOI said that we should change this one. BOI said we should change the date, but eventually they get that funding and then their business is scaled. So yes, thank you, BOI, on their behalf. And then we're also hoping that we can access these funds for ourselves in the future. Thank you.
If you start on something, do you have to be well known before you then introduce newbies into the business that you really want to fund in the industry, in the film industry, for production?
You do not even need to have been a big player to be able to access a facility from us. All you need is to put in an application, and your application will be reviewed. And if it meets our risk acceptance criteria, we'll progress with it. Even if it doesn't, we'll have a meeting with you. We'll sit down and we'll look at the areas of your request that does not meet our risk acceptance criteria, and then we find ways around it and how to help. As much as we are here to support your businesses, we must also understand that businesses must also be viable and feasible. So we are not just going to give monies to people simply because they have asked. There are certain conditions and criteria that have to be met.
Thanking the women for their participation and insightful contributions, the Divisional Head, SME Lending and Non-Interest Banking at BOI, Mrs. Jelilat Ismaila Inde, reiterates the transparency in the bank's loan processes.
You don't need to know anyone to walk into BOI. You don't need to know anyone to access funding from BOI. BOI is open for business for women. Our MD, led by the MD, the executive directors, and each and every one in the Bank of Industry. We are here supporting women in financing, even in capacity building.
Over 80 women-led businesses from diverse sectors in Nigeria participated in this empowerment event.
Insightful discussions there. Now, one of the female beneficiaries of BOI loan facilities is Mrs. Dorcas Agbogol, the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of Difudi Cuisine in Benue State. According to Mrs. Agbogol, the financial intervention by the Bank of Industry has made a huge difference in the foodies' operations.
Difudi Cuisine, located at number 41, Railway Bypass, High Level, Makurdi, Benue State. Established in the year 2020 by a banker turned restaurateur, Difudi Cuisine is a company set up to provide local and intercontinental dishes in a serene and relaxing environment while also creating employment opportunity.
I started as a food seller on the streets. You know, I didn't know that this dream will become, you know, this bigger picture in life. It was born out of the quest and the zeal to create jobs for these unemployed youths on Benue streets. As a banker, then I thought of something that could add value to the Benue unemployed, and I see creating or bringing up a restaurant as something that can create jobs for Benue youth, especially the women folks.
Difudi Cuisine's quest for growth led the company to seek loan from the Bank of Industry.
I always listen to people say their success story on television, and I'll keep praying. I say, God, when will this come to me? And as God will have it, I approach the bank just carelessly, say, okay, let me try and see if it will work. You know, looking at the bureaucracy, but also understanding the documentation process, given my background, I was able to, you know, succeed within the shortest possible time because I understand what is expected of me to bring on board on time, and we are able to, you know, assess a facility that helps us, you know, move further. For me, what motivated me to approach you was your rates and the flexibility in the repayment.
And here's how the funds provided by the Bank of Industry is boosting the operations of Difudi Cuisine.
Running a restaurant has to do with two major aspects, the heating and the cooling aspect of it. You know, and the heating has to do with, you know, the production side of it, where you have your power on, where you make your production, you have your cookers and you have all that. Then the cooling aspect of it has to do where we chill our drinks. We have the AC cooling to provide a serene environment for people to sit and enjoy their meals. So that's where the Bank of Industry comes in. We're able to get a 100 kVA generator. That's really, really helped us, you know, in the cooling and powering of this place, because this business cannot survive without power. Not just the generator, I think the funds were also used to buy our mixer, automated mixer. It cost us a lot to buy that one too, and we are able to buy a deep freezer. That has made us to have increased the number of people we have employed, because production has to take place, and we need people to attend to people, to attend to our guests, our customers, and all that. So our number of staff have also increased drastically. We also didn't just start at this level. We started at a very humble, beginning in a one small plaza. But to the glory of God, we've been able to, acquire this structure, and with also the help of your bank, we've been able to acquire more equipment, And for us, I think we'll ever remain grateful to Bank of Industry. And we believe that our focus in the future is to expand to other states, where we can have more branches. And so I'm praying and I'm wishing that once we are able to finish up this facility, Bank of Industry will be able to give us more, more money to be able to expand.
Sharing key advice to budding entrepreneurs, the MD-CEO of Difudi Cuisine projects a brighter future for the company as it continues to hold on to its core values.
I look at Difudi in 5 years to be at least in 3 or 4 states. That's our desire. And we are stopping at nothing to achieve that. I always encourage my staff that we cannot stand for anything less. And people like good food, people like, their meals being prepared in hygienic environments. And we also hold in high esteem customer service, being the first. Without the customer, we are not in business. So these are things that form part of our core values. And I know that with this we will be able to go far, because we will not tolerate anything that will jeopardize the dream of the foodie. Don't settle for less. And whatever you are set out to achieve, please don't think it's too much. Just keep trying, keep pushing, don't give up. No matter, because there's nothing you do in this life that is free from challenges. Challenges will come, but how you manipulate those challenges to your own advantage differentiates you, and is what will make the business stand out. I will also say that people that seek to go into business and they feel they don't have people to support, it's just the mindset. I know the government, both at the federal and state, always provide. Sometimes they provide those enabling environment for us to utilize, but sometimes lack of knowledge. People don't know how to access these funds. Just walk into the bank and ask questions. Then also looking at mentorship. Some of us are out willing to mentor people, because I've come, I've seen, I've conquered, and I know that if I identify, women especially that are out there struggling, to set up their business, I should be able to, chip in 1 or 2, with the right connection. I believe that, yes, certainly we will be great and will do well and will succeed.
Thank you for staying tuned. In whatever way you fit in as an entrepreneur, the Bank of Industry is always willing to support your business. All you have to do is to approach the bank in any of its offices across the nation and the Federal Capital Territory. You can also log on to the BOI website or any of the bank's social media handles to get more information. And that's a wrap on BOI Weekly. Thank you so much for watching. I am Kumbi Aboluade. Bye for now.